Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Ursula. First one to jump into the chat from the West Coast. Good morning there. So I want to get started. So welcome to the Black Lives Matter at School Curriculum Fair. We want you to introduce yourself in the chat box. Name, pronouns, title, role, location. Some of you have already started. Good morning, Portland. Hello from PG County. Continue to use the chat box. We want this to be an interactive conversation for comments, questions, and collaborations. Hi, my name is Tamara Anderson, and I have been educating for 26 years. It's so funny when you say it out loud. My mother would be proud because I truly told her I was like, I want a real job when I was 5 years old. I am the Teach Truth organizer. One Teach Truth organizer was Zen Education Project. I'm a published writer, professional artist, a proud member of SAG-AFTRA and AA, a member of Black Lives Matter School Steering Committee, Melanated Educators Collective, and one of the founding members of the Racial Justice Organizing Committee out of Philly. So this is our 5th annual event. For the first 3 years in the DC area, educators met in person at Howard University, Minor Hall. This year and last, we welcome teachers from around the United States and around the world. Teachers have signed up from more than 34 states. And this now includes those states that have banned teaching this history. We especially welcome you. Continue to introduce yourself because this is a time for us not to feel isolated. We want to make these connections across states, across districts, across counties, to make sure that we are building community and building support. And despite what we are hearing in the news every day, that we are not going anywhere. Hello, Minneapolis and DC and NYC. So our agenda today from 12 to 12:25 is the welcoming keynote, and then we're going to go into a gallery hall, which will be just explained to you when we get there. And then we're going to have our sessions from 12:40 to 2:30. 12:30 to 12:20 to 2:20. Let me get the times right. Let me pretend like I could read. And then we'll have closing and evaluation. So in great appreciation, we also want to thank all of our ASL interpreters, Maura Nolan, Rodney, Laban, Christina, White House Suggs, Mara Zuckerman, Jeremy Brunson, and Jessica Gabron. The Curriculum Fair co-host is Teaching for Change. Teaching for Change is this amazing organization that continues to help students uncover the truth about history and their vital role as informed and active citizens. You can find more information at teachingforchange.org. So how you build social justice? You start in the classroom. We know that from Bell Hooks, what does she say? The classroom is still the most radical place for education, right? The personal is the political. So these are the organizations. You got DC Area Educators for Social Justice, Teach Central America, Teach to Beat, Go in School, Civil Rights Teaching, Social Justice Books, and Zen Education Project with Rethinking Schools. And we want to make sure you have books, lots of books. So social justice books are the best, a variety of multicultural and social justice books for children, young adults, and educators. Especially, we want to say that we have some wonderful opportunities for our early childhood teachers because sometimes they get lost in the sauce at socialjusticebooks.org. The Zen Education Project has over 140,000 plus teachers signed up across the United States. You have access to free downloadable people's history lessons. Let me say it for cheap seats in the back. These are a wonderful resource, guide, and tool for teachers all over the country to bring into their classroom and use and share as far as having these opportunities to teach these lessons, very powerful lessons with some wonderful primary sources. And the link for the Education Project is inside the thing. Now, we realize that the only people who care enough about us to work consistently for our liberation are us. Our politics evolved from a healthy love for ourselves, our sisters, and our community, which allows us to continue our struggle and work. So what I would like to tell you is a really quick story. So from the Caucus of Working Educators, which is a progressive caucus outside of Philadelphia, teacher caucus, they let ITAG and they would lead these book groups and started about 2014. So until about a year after they started, these committees started. The Racial Justice Organizing Committee was one of them in 2015. In 2020, the Racial Justice Organizing Committee left the Caucus of Working Educators. But during that time, we were inspired by what happened in Seattle. So what happened in Seattle on September 16th, 2016, an event at John Muir School, they received a bomb threat. And the teachers were like, you've got to be kidding me. And they staged an action in response to that incident in October of 2016. Thousands of teachers wore Black Lives Matter shirts and walked out of school in protest and in acknowledgement and protection of their students and community. So this news was national news when it happened, and three teachers who were in the group, including myself at the time, got wind of the news. We were like, my goodness, like, how can we build upon this? How can we make this happen as far as here in Philadelphia? And so one of the things that we started talking about is I had stumbled across the 13 Guiding Principles, which are developed by the Black Lives Matter Global Network. And the 13 Guiding Principles, oh, can you switch the slides for me, Tree, please? Sorry. We started planning action in November of 2016. And the first thing that we started to think about is, how can this be more than a day? And how can this highlight some of the discrepancies and inequities that are happening here in Philadelphia in our public schools? Philadelphia, as you may know, may not know, is one of the few cities, school districts where African American studies is a high school graduation requirement. But its robustness in being taught, its availability of curriculum has been very inconsistent throughout the years. And so there are lots of schools where it's barely either not taught. There were issues of racism. There were issues on top of issues. And so with these 13 guiding principles, we started to build a template for a week of action. And we were like, if we can connect each day to several principles and connect these principles, we can connect that to curriculum. We can connect that to events. And we called it Philly Black Lives Matter Week of Action. And the reason why we called it that is because we wanted families, we wanted to get rid of that divide between families and parents and teachers. We wanted the community to really come out and be a part of this work and these conversations. And January 2017, Black Lives Matter Week of Action began in Philadelphia. And so in the summer of 2017, can you actually switch the slide for me, please? Sorry. Summer 2017, members of the Racial Justice Organizing Committee presented about the Week of Action at Free Minds, Free People Conference in Baltimore. People were ecstatic. They were like, oh my goodness, like, how can we be involved with this? And that is the summer of 2017 is literally when we started to talk about how can we make this national. And then February 2018 was the first year that it was national in over 20 cities. And these are just some of the 13 guiding principles, which you will see in the curriculum of Black Lives Matter at school. Restorative justice, empathy, loving engagement, diversity, globalism, queer affirming, trans affirming, collective value, Black families, Black women. So as we know, one of the principles for January is queer affirming. And this idea of intersectionality is looped and embedded into the very bedrock of what this week means. And now, of course, we have expanded the week to the Year of Purpose. And the Year of Purpose takes it from September all the way to June till we get to Juneteenth, a school year of months, so to say, to really focus on how those principles can branch out and be used in the classroom and in the community around the schools. So of course we have, so January's peer organizer will be Uplift Bayard Rustin as one of the core organizers of March on Washington. And then of course, I would like to give you February 18th, was Unapologetically Black Day, which are the birthdays of Audre Lorde, and Toni Norrison. So I would like to now introduce I would like to now introduce Dr. Norris. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. Yes, I would like to introduce Dr. Catherine Norris, who's Department Chair of Curriculum Instruction at Howard University. She has, here we are. Dr. Norris is the newly appointed to Howard. Before her time at Howard, she spent 14 years teaching at Westchester University in PA, and Dr. Norris taught for the Philadelphia public school system for 18 years. I'd like to welcome Dr. Norris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So first, let me say good morning. I'm excited to be here today. Thumbs up if you can hear me. So I want to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to be very brief, but I want to first acknowledge that all of us are here today when we could have been anywhere. We could have been in our bed, we could have been sleeping, but we recognize the importance of the work, and we're here to work, and we're here to serve on matters that are critical and that are important. We're in currently very difficult times right now as educators, whether you're in pre-K all the way through higher ed. We're dealing with a global pandemic that is challenging all of us to figure out how to navigate in those spaces. We're also dealing with during a time where we're being attacked, our work is being attacked. Equity and justice is being attacked in legislation, in our classrooms. And so we recognize the need for us to be here in this space with individuals that are like-minded, that are ready to do the work. Many schools now are recognizing how important this justice work is, but at Howard University, we haven't had to shift or scramble or to change our way of thinking and doing, because from its onset, Howard University was a justice-based institution, and that work of equity has been happening all across our campus from the very beginning of Howard University. The School of Education spends a lot of time, and we're very proud, and I have some of our faculty, Dr. Bond and Dr. Quinlan, and maybe others that are here this morning, but they spend a lot of their time in the School of Education focusing on asset-based learning, asset-based pedagogy, and social justice issues in all of our classes. It's embedded in everything that we do, so there was no shift that needed to happen at Howard University. Our curriculum in our teacher ed program, we spend the time doing research-based work, and we acknowledge how important it is to prepare our students to go out into the field and to be ready, whether they're going into urban education classrooms or whether they're going into PWI institutions or classes, to be ready to engage and to be change agents in their field. So we're really excited to be here partnering with you this morning. We're excited about the work that we're going to do. Howard University's teacher ed program is very STEM heavy, and one of our STEM faculty will be presenting today, Dr. Quinlan. We also are very global in that we have a global education program, and we also have an opportunity for our students to have a semester, a course that is focused in a bilingual classroom. So we recognize this work. This is not new work to us, and we're excited to be partnering here today. We're excited for the last couple of years to have been partnering with Teachers for Change and DC area educators for this wonderful curriculum fair. I hope that you all are going to enjoy the workshops. You're in for a treat. And I'm excited again to be here, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Vanessa Williams. Thank you.
Hi all, thank you so much for that fabulous intro, Tamara, and for those powerful words, Dr. Norris. Hi again, my name is Vanessa Williams. I'm the program manager for DC area educators for social justice, and I use she, her, hers pronouns. We appreciate you all being in this virtual space with us today. and hope that you're excited and ready to continue engaging with one another in a gallery hall space with educator-curated resources for Black Lives Matter at school. This is a way for you to interact with and share ideas with other participants before you go into your workshops. From dismissal from the Zoom until 12:35 Eastern Time, you're invited to check out grade level resources about Black Lives Matter at school on Padlet and interact with one another in that virtual space. We are dropping the links to each grade level Padlet in the chat now. Please take a moment to log into your Padlet account if you have one before clicking on the desired link. If you do not have one, you can still participate and will be able to access the desired Padlet. Before you're dismissed into the gallery hall, please be reminded of the webpage information to access workshops in both sessions in the chat. You are encouraged to provide feedback on today's fair with an evaluation that will be shared during both workshop sessions. Those that complete the evaluation will be entered into a raffle with 50 chances to win books, yay books, and opt to receive a 2.5-hour professional development certificate. If you're able to join us for the first session of workshops and only the first session, you should complete the evaluation then. If you're able to stay for the entirety of the curriculum fair, you should complete the evaluation at the conclusion of your second session workshop. The time is now 12:17. You are encouraged to log into your Padlet account and participate in the gallery hall until 12:35. We will leave the Zoom meeting open for questions or clarification on the fair as you all exit for the gallery hall. Session 1 workshops begin promptly at 12:40 p.m. Eastern Time. As you move to the gallery hall and workshop sessions, you're encouraged to use the hashtag BLM@school to amplify on Twitter. Lastly, mark your calendars and consider the resources you engage with today as some preparation for Black Lives Matter at School Week of Action, this year, January 31st through February 4th. Thank you all for the outstanding work that you do every day and for being part of this virtual community today. With that, you're dismissed to go to the gallery hall and subsequent workshops. Thank you.